Right place, right moment. Hello and welcome, of course. A beautiful evening live on Eswatini TV. We bring you this program, Temidlalo, as usually it happens on a Monday. Hello and welcome. Your host this evening, Fabrice Umsona. A lot, of course, pertaining to the sport fraternity. As we know from this moment, the entire world has been hit by a serious pandemic. That is COVID-19, also known by coronavirus. So if you think now sporting activities can be put to a break, that's how serious it is. But that does not mean we won't have anything to say about the issue. So that's why we're here. We look at that to say how much has the virus affected the entire world, and especially also coming to the kingdom of Eswatini. How much has the virus, of course, affected our sporting fraternity? As we speak, games have been put on hold, sporting codes are on hold as well. But for that chance, we'll go back a bit behind and get an opportunity to speak to the recent champions of the Ngwenyama Cup. They had promised to come, of course, last week. Due to some technical challenges, they couldn't make it. But they're in the studio today. The presence of Coach Caleb Ngwenya, of course, and the captain, Banet Amin, aka Makonez. We'll go to other sporting codes. Touching on, there's a new sport in town, of course, it is called Tech Ball. And it's making headlines. We'll also hear from those who are in charge of the sport. What is Tech Ball? Where is it coming from? And why is it in the kingdom? What is it going to be doing? And of course, other sporting codes. We had national championships over the weekend at Njabulu, and we'll touch on how swimming was doing over the weekend. Now, bringing you this show for the next 59 minutes, it's going to be me and, of course, a various of guests in the studio. But now, the champions, the 2020 champions in Ngwenyama Cup, Seba Vereba Kone studio, including Coach Caleb Ngwenya and Captain Banele Lamin Makoles. Nkana Coach Ngufu Coach. Yes, Captain Nguvu, you are a man of your words. Or we caught some words you said before the final. Captain, we welcome you on the program today. Yes, Coach, we will maybe start with my road to the final. But we look at you, your personality. When you took the job, quickly maybe, to become Green Mamba, Coach, what was at stake? What was the assignment? What do you want? What did they want you to give them in terms of trophies and success? That's in my target. In 2 seasons, you have already given them 2 clinical trophies, being the league and the Ngwenyama Cup.
When I first got to Green Mamba, I was welcomed very well by everybody, including my players. When we were working, when we started setting our objectives and the way we are going to be working, because the players bought into my kind of working, and the support is always there of everybody.
Yes, Captain, maybe there's a lot I want to ask you, but we're still on this question about the coach. Now, figure, what was the impression Benja now figure in the team as a coach? In terms of a rival, what is now Coach Romosha? It's an impression.
Kufika kwakhe coach ngasho kwekuthi kithi kwafika ngathi bekufika babe kithi, and indlela le kafika ngayo ngasho kwekuthi iGreen Mamba i-team yelforce lapho kudzingakala khona idiscipline, ihamba phambili idiscipline ngaso sonke isikhathi. And kufika kwakhe coach kwayifaka idiscipline because njengoba sathi ukuthi he is a coach le kafaka idiscipline ngaso sonke isikhathi. And kwabalula kusebenzisana kwethu naye coach, and kwasenda sabambana saba enjoying, kwasebenteka malula. Kungako namhla sithi sivela lana sesivela sina 2 wedding komishi, usengaqethi nema season la ngathi akabe mathathu, but sesina 2 wedding komishi isizini sengaphela. Lokusho ukuthi kusengafika nalenye inkomishi.
Coach, you finished 2017-2018 season with Maida City, top 6 over coach of the season in terms of performance. You joined Green Mamba. Now, 2019 season, you win the MTN Premier League. And most of the things that were highlighted in the season, 2018-2019, almost the first round in terms of performance. Then later on, Gubanama dynamics, football being football. Now, the new season is here. The Ngonyama Cup was launched. Was the tournament, now we're talking about the Ngonyama Cup, was the tournament part of Lama objectives, part of Lama successes you were required from the process?
I think Green Mamba is a big team. It's not in the stature of the team you've just mentioned. That's where I come from. It's bound to challenge for every cup or tournament that is there. But we really needed to put some certain kind of direction and make the players realize that they are playing for a big team. And it was easy to do that, Captain Zegashito, because they come from a force where discipline is not a problem. Then I found my work very easy.
Captain, I think if I'm not mistaken, Benja like Modern Pirates in the semi-finals. Nani, when you're coming to a game of this magnitude, especially it's a decider. You win, you are through. You lose, you're out. Most of the time, coach, what's the message? Usharatsin would say, this is a key game. What is the message that normally he gives you?
Coach uvele asitshele ukuthi wakhe umsebenzi uqedza ejimini. Sine sekufanele sihambe siyowenda lo msebenzi ngaleli langa lemidlalo. And lokhu yaye kusiwinise thine kwekuthi asitshele kwekuthi manje coach kuze kwekuthi siwine kufanele singafaki igoli ngakithi. Ibase yekuwina kuyaye kube ngile clean sheet. And lokho kuyahlala ke kithi. Cause siyaye sithi vele nazidlala sitimisele kwekuthi makungabikho lokungena ngakithi. Cause singaqhubeka sidlale le game siye kubo 90 minutes solokude lengakithi and singagcine silitholile lelo lini.
Yeah, now quickly let's move on, coach. Sunrise, you play against Sunrise in the last 32. You play against Seabirds in the last 16 quarterfinals against Young Buffaloes. That's where I want you, coach. It's a derby. I think without Kazaga, captain would say what makes it strong. But you, I want to believe parts of Britain and what's it day. I want to believe though. But what was the message on the day? It was one note. Through to the next stage. It was a beautiful win or it was an ugly win. You go through. But what was the message before you came to the game? Because I saw you at the stadium. You looked a bit uneasy because you knew it was a tough game.
Yeah, it was a tough game, and everybody would say when you play Buffaloes, they're one of the best teams locally. So we had to prepare well. That is where it started. We prepared very well for that game, and we know their strength. We know their weaknesses. We really tried to concentrate on their weaknesses, and while we were training and preparing for it, we know it was going to be very close.
But personally, the night maybe before the game, I want to believe you sat in the room. How difficult was it? Sleepless nights?
With my team, it is not really difficult when you get into matches, because when we prepare, I know exactly who to pair against who. Having still, we are for the opposition positionally. If I pair this against this one, what do I get? That's the only thing maybe that keeps you juggling the team until the last minute. When you play the match before it actually starts.
Captain, what makes it a big day? Nanidlala Young Buffaloes. Good see it's either the league, Eswatini Bank, or Ingonyama Cup, but the game itself, Green Mamba Young Buffaloes, Nine inside your heart, what makes it a big game?
Kudlala against Young Buffaloes. Ngingakusho nje ukuthi lama forces la 3. Now uyodlala against each other. Kuyaye kube yimbi vele. Ayiqali ke lembi la ikithi noma la kuma players noma la ikhathe groundini. Icala ledulu kulabaholi. The president, the bosses of la team lamathathu. And amunye uyasho ukuthi ufuna ukuthi nakahledi nebalingani bakhe. Kuvakale ukuthi naye
yes
ukumcoka kangakanani.
Yes, kule game le bekune concern coach. The captain came into the game and I think he was injured prior to the game, and people wondering ukuthi is he fit to fit, but anyway you played him. A beautiful finish there. What was the plan with the game there? What a finish.
The morning game. It was also a very close game. We did not start well. We considered early, so we had to change our game. So that is where the captain came in and fit in, because at that point we knew very well what we wanted in terms of his experience, in terms of his leadership qualities, because we knew we had to come out and fight for our lives. So we needed him at that point.
Captain, maybe now Buganje on the day, the way the goals were coming, the numbers, but you started by conceding, but the way you came through, especially second half, what was the message from coach?
Coach kwaba encourage at dressing room. Kuthi manje kusele 90 minutes, 45 minutes. And asika lose the game. Kuphela nje ukuthi baya lead. And kwase sekubuya nemagama a president kuthi manje usithumile kuthi asihambe siyothatha le nkomishi nothi ukuthi siyodlala igame yemonene kuthi siyothatha le nkomishi.
Now ngikujoba kancane seni kuma finals kenyalo ngoba isikhathi sesingathi siyabaleka seni kuma finals, and I want to believe people want to know why you were not at a hidden team. Ngasho njalo during the week your training were open. Anyone could come and see how you're training, and you didn't take a special case you are going to South Africa noma Big Bend benla nanzane eMatsap. Yes, nothing had changed. Preparing to this game, coach, what did you have in mind, especially against Bamane Highlanders, knowing their fans, knowing the coach experience in the tournament? It's in plan yakho, and we touch on the some of the players potential about tunes and the experience. What was the plan on the day, coach?
Going into the finals, we knew very well it was also going to be a very close game in terms of tactics, in terms of we wanted to be a bit conservative in our approach into this game, and we wanted to see what do they have in store. And we knew who are their key players, because we had to have a good plan for those individual players that have driven them to the finals.
Coach, in terms of the picture is gone, but how key has he been in your camp? Because maybe I'm coming to you, Captain. There's something I want you to tell me. But how key has he been, especially the midfield, your team, in the confidence that he has these days, the way he's playing? How key has he been for, especially as Mbuga finals?
All my players have done well, especially in this tournament. Knowing we're coming from the league where we're a bit very inconsistent with our performances and with our results of the matches there. We've been losing matches that sometimes we don't deserve to lose, because so I think all the players, when we talk about the Ngwenyama Cup, I think they up their game individually and as a group. I cannot single out any individual. That I think they all did well under the circumstances.
Captain, I should say it was a shock to see how many supporters we have. The moment itself, Captain, ngoba sewukhona next to His Majesty. Angathi noma ungasicephula kancane ukuthi inkulumo bayithini benixoxa nithini lapho, because maybe it was to encourage you to keep going, if it's maybe something you can share with us.
Bekasibongela lo mtselive ukuthi sisebenzile kufika lapha, uyasibongela ukuthi sigcine siyiphakamisile lenkomishi, wathi asichubeke sifake amandla nakule landzelako ingonyama sigcine siyithethe lenkomishi. Kwabangiloko nje bekasalalisela sibongela.
But naningene egemini ngathi there was a sort of thing you were playing nangena before the game. What was that, Captain? Before the game, there is something that happened at the stadium, and I think it took by surprise everyone, especially my Green Mamba supporters.
Kude lokungakanani kuthi nje sangena vele thina lapha ekhathe egemini, we were bit motivated kwekuthi we are going to play against Highlanders. Kuna boss wethu uhledi lapha eTuli president utosibukela and utabe ahledi eceleni kwengonyama kangangokuba bekasithumile, and ngicabanga ukuthi ngangikutshelile kwekuthi sifuna kwakha ihistory kulenkomishi le, sifika kwekuqala kuma semifinal and sifuna kwekuthi sihambe sigcine siyiphakamisile lenkomishi.
Coach, I want maybe to touch on one or two goals. Maybe we saw the Mkhole's goal, but how do you think you maximize from that opportunity? Yes, especially when you look at some of the weaknesses from the defense in Babane Highlanders. How do you think you maximize their weaknesses on the day?
Yeah, we did.
Especially Mtuns with this. What would you say about Mtuns? Just to credit him.
If you look exactly at that, his anticipation of where the next ball was going, it was tip top, because he started very well while in advance, while the ball was not released to that player, which was very good in terms of his anticipation, speed. That was tip top, high pressing that we were doing. We wanted to press them high in the second half, especially knowing that they are not very quick at the back.
Yeah, Coach,
it worked well.
Is it something maybe you do it in training, Noma? It's the experience.
Yeah, we were doing it
in training.
Yeah, we were doing it. We were doing high pressing, especially on those areas, because we know that they are a team that likes to play from the back.
Yes.
So it was there.
All right. Yeah. This Joy, Captain, maybe as we close, how much of encouraging to you as a team it is, just uphakamisa lenkomishi on its own?
Ngasho ukuthi kuyas encourage singema players eGreen Mamba, and istimisele ukuthi sisekhona sichubeke siphakamise inkomishi leti sayabekiwe embi kwethu.
Yeah, Coach, congratulations once again for lifting the trophy. Before we leave, maybe seeing Valisa, the league is on hold, of course, but in terms of lama chances it's not realistic. Eswatini Bank, are you looking at maybe going through and once again make it in Africa?
I think I can take the opportunity to say Green Mamba I'm not alone. I have a good bunch of coaches that are preparing that team. They give me a lot of support and a lot of brains in terms of what we need to do. Kuna Scalo, kuna Maxwell. I can take this opportunity to thank them the way they prepare the team, because sometimes I just come in to mix what they are doing.
Wow. Coach, time is against us before they kick all of us out of the studio. Congratulations, Coach, once again, and thank you very much for honoring the invitation. It means a lot stopping the Sitibane stadiums once the games are back. Captain, what an honor once again to have you. And Kubegada with the performance, and we know that, of course, with Sihlangu Semnigati, we expect the same. Otherwise, that was the Green Mamba head coach Caleb Ngwenya in the company of Captain Banel Dlamini Mkhwana, telling us about their glory days of the Ngwenyama Cup 2020, from the day they started against Sunrise up to the moment they clinched the trophy against Boban Highlanders. A short break as we welcome also the Tech Ball committee in the studio to tell us about the sport. But taking this break, I will leave you some of the moments of Green Mamba leading to the finals, especially the moments when they're lifting the trophy. Take a look at this. And of course, if you just join us, Eswatini TV, we're live. Of course, on Monday we give you everything that has to do with sport. Temidlalo is live, and of course, out of this country, meaning going beyond the borders. Of course, we are live on YouTube, so you can get a chance, of course, to view anything from this moment up to anytime you get an opportunity. Already, I'm in the company of Tech Ball. I would say the executive committee, headed by the president himself, Mfanifuthi Taribo Bembe, in the company of Nolowazi Ngwenyama, of course, to tell us about the sport, which I would want to say that not only is it making headlines internationally, we were, teased during the finals of the Ngwenyama Cup to some of the things that can the sport do to you in terms of control and everything. It's a beautiful sport. They're here to tell us about that. We will get a chance to also to know the background information about the sport, who will be playing it, who are involved in the department of this association, and what are the plans for the association. A sport, I would say, since the Eswatini Sports and Recreation Council has got over 30 sporting codes, so that's another added sporting codes. I'm considering why not. Nguvusele Mfanifuthi Bembe.
Nguvusele Fabrice, Nguvusele Nobabukeli Makaya.
Nolowazi, welcome in the studio.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. Now, President, you're the president, and for the benefit of the viewers, I have that question, and I will ask Mr. Bembe the same question. We're talking about Tech Ball. Does that mean Taribo doesn't want to be associated with anything that has to do with football or golf? He will tell us about that, why we want to know if he has already hung out his boot or not. We'll get to that. But Taribo, let's talk about the sport. I was just getting a bit of information about the sport, how it came all the way from Hungary. Hungary, it's a beautiful country that when you talk about sports, maybe football, majority we know some of a legend called Puskas used to come from that country. But let's talk about the sport now. Tech Ball, it comes from Hungary, and how did we come to be involved also in the sport, and when was the sport introduced in Mhlabeni?
Asibonge Fabrice. I-Tekball njengoba usho vele sport umdlalo loqhamuka khona eHungary. Lo mdlalo lona Fabrice umdlalo welibhola but lo dlala etafuleni. Le tafula la khona libhendile nje kancane nje likhevile le tafula licishe lifane le table tennis.
Okay.
Le table tennis li straight line net lamkhathisini. Leli libhendile
This is in the kingdom of Eswatini.
This is during the finals in Ngonyama Cup.
So the band you're talking about is the one we're seeing there.
Sibona nje litafula libhendile Fabrice lingumdlalo kwalona but iphindze futhi libe lithulusi lokujimisa abadlali.
True.
Lana ke besilisebenzisa ukuthi badlali ba warm up ngalo ke during the finals eNgonyama Cup but kahle lona lingumdlalo nje on his own uyakhona nje ukukhompyutha ukhona kuya World Cup nje futhi soon kutaba iOlympic sport Fabrice uyakhona ukuthi umdlali wayo le sport lesa khona ku representa live emidlalweni phesheya ma Olympics nema World Championships.
No, as I think I'm looking at the table, there is a queue. There is a sort of white, and then I'm also noticing that on your T-shirt. These are the main colors of the sport, or the orange, or it's just the brand that you chose as an association.
So as my president said,
yes.
Tekball is part of a franchise, and the orange is one of the main colors of the French franchise. Of course, followed by the white and a stormy gray. So those are colors that we've adopted that have come in as part of the franchise deal.
Oh, when I was also looking at in other countries how the sport is spreading, I noticed that even female are also exposed to the sport, and it speaks to why maybe Noloaz is here. So let's talk about the Q, and then maybe one, because when you look at an emblem of anything, a sporting code, then it speaks to you. The Q is the Q that we know, and then it's just this is the emblem of the sport.
Yes, the Q for Breeze is actually the name of the sport, which is tech. It's about technique, you know. So they decided to use the Q as an resemblance of technique. So basically, as you read the name, it is tech ball. So it's a technique with the ball. Because lo mdlalo lona Fabrice kudzingeka lokuthi ube skilled kakhulu, vele ube nale technique yebhola. Yes, njengoba ushito earlier on vele sinabona ulwazi la, it is ngumdlalo lo dlalwa noma ngangibani. Baswati abangathuki babuka lo level abayibona la ku TV bathi hey ngeke sikhonele imvo le ilula kabi kakhulu Fabrice. Kune program nje stay roller out lekuthiwa yi 0 to hero. Lapho nawe nje ongazange uzuyikhahlele ibhola utakhona uyicontroller ka 3 ibhola uyishayise lapha
all right, no, good stuff. Now Noloz, I want to find out about the association. We already in the country because I think it was introduced back in 2014. Then 5 years later, that's how quick it is in the country. I think we should thank you for that. 5 years later, we are very exposed to the sport. Let's talk about the association now. Are you already an affiliate of the sporting association? And the proceedings, how is it going?
So we're officially recognized as part of FITTEC, the International Federation of Tekball. So we're recognized internationally at that level, at that scale, and even locally.
Yes, you can maybe take me through the faces I'm seeing on the screen. Yes.
So this is actually our team. This is the committee that makes up Tekball Eswatini.
Yes.
And it includes legends like Njabuliso Smelane, who is a former goalkeeper himself and the current national under-20 national team goalkeeper coach. We have ladies like Nonhlanhla Shoulder, who is also a goalkeeper coach for the women's senior team, and has played the football herself for years. We have Magetu Dube, who is the FIFA match commissioner and herself is a former soccer player. Senzo Malaza, I know a lot of people might remember his voice from hearing it in the radio every single day in the morning. Tulas Melane, who is a CAF match commissioner, just to mention a few of the talented 15 individuals who actually make up our team.
There is Senzo, you just mentioned him.
Yes.
Now, I think maybe sit on that president. I'm looking at the committee itself and who are involved in the sport. I think so much is being done in terms of public figures, the likes of Pinda Futil, former football player as well. take us through the involvement of such faces in the sport. Why specific faces? And mostly, I would want to accredit that these are the people who are well informed when it comes to sport.
Most definitely Fabrice le committee lena vele yakhethwa kahle yabukwa ngobuqophelelo lobukhulu ukuthi vele kudzingeka abantu le banale experience lapho leni, you know. Ngajabula lokusho lokuthi phela njengoba ubona le committee, I think half wayo kunema females, half wayo it's males, so sazamile lokuthi le gender siyibalansise, but asikayibalansise le gender because sifuna kuyibalansisa lama ladies la khona lana vele a experience football ku football njoba sisho nje sinabo Thula Simelane, we know them kumanzini.
I think that let's keep seeing them, let's keep watching the people
so
involved in the committee.
It's about time lokuthi vele the ladies sibanikete, you know, le role kuma sport. So this is a new sport, so njoba ubona le committee le, why not don't we have women empowering women that know football, you know, baranele sport. So we're good to say lokuthi vele bagcwele lana ma women Fabrice, but then mawubuka ke lamadvosa vele ngabo Njabuliso Simelane, kunabo Spoko, you know, ma legends ebhola, you know, kunabo Phinda Dlamini as well, you know, because ibhola on its own. So mase siphuma siya la vene sifundisa abantwana bayakhona lokurelate kahle ngale sport, because sizidlalile nathi sports, sidlalile nathi ibhola. Then mangaqhamuka nje wena nje Fabrice nale bhola lena ye-tech ball,
vice president of women football is already there
uthatha isikhathi Fabrice. So I think le committee lena vele ikhethwe ngalo-objective lokuthi vele the sport sikhona ukuthi sispread ke kahle la even.
Now, President, of course, we can see you there on the screen. Now, Nolwazi, just maybe to talk about the sport, still on the sport, yes, some of the faces, of course, the likes of Thabiso Langwenya, of course, involved. Let's talk about the mandate of the association and the federation and the sport itself.
So the main mandate of the Tekbo Eswatini Federation is to introduce the sport to Eswatini and also develop players to take on the sport and go wild with it, essentially. And at the end of this year, we hope to have people who can represent the country internationally in some of our many competitions that are coming up. So those are our almost immediate mandates to sort out. And yeah, I think that's
maybe still on that, to add on, maybe one would want to understand if the launch has been done, or we still to you know, to be invited and in a huge gathering, and you know, when there's a launch, you know, all those things, all those things. Yes, you know, maybe it was they who were absent with all those. So just to know, because I think it's a beautiful even warm-up session for the soccer players. I mean, it helps you with control of the ball and everything that has to do with adjusting yourself.
I think Jobubona Fabrice i-launch unofficial bengiyo lena lokuthi siyisile ngibabane Swallows sayisa emvuleni kumbabane Highlanders sitakuya tikolweni unofficial, but i-launch official vele besibekela ukuthi ibe kulokhlanu lona lotako Fabrice, but ngenxa yale virus lekhona ne-corona nokuthi akusinga ukuthi sigidarishe abantu zawonye, sinasi sidecidile ke as i-association or as i-federation move forward le launch, ngoba ifake ikhathi abantu abaqhamuka phesheya le kumele bete la eveni bona labanikati baleli tafula laba introduce the sport ukuthi bete batasichazela batavula officially le sport le, so abakakhoni ke ukugibela tindiza usibete ke this coming Friday. So ngicabanga ukuthi sive stasatisa ukuthi sitawulauncha nini, but as lama months ahamba ngisasho njalo Fabrice sitawuya vele indzaweni tonke around Swaziland strategically, so singabatshela nje ma viewers ukuthi babuke bo Facebook bethu ma social media sta announce lokuthi sikuphi nini bete bataw register kumele ke sibe nema clubs njengasebholeni Fabrice le sport lesithi nga ema clubs njengoba ubona nje lana nje lawa nje ma federations la sevele countries that are vele are registered, you know. And for one proud moment Fabrice singembili kwe-South Africa for a change.
Wow,
Yeah.
there you have it.
So
they have to come and consult.
Eswatini, South Africa itawuta kitsi.
That's the story. You
Yes,
have it. And
utawuthi
you heard it.
senende njani nina, so we are trendsetters in Southern Africa. Izami kathi ayiveli khona, but we the second Southern African country to actually launch techball in Eswatini.
Yes, quickly before we go, maybe that's a very proud moment, Mr. President Taribo Bembe, on how you've achieved that before South Africa. Can you go back again to the members? I think they were still showing us the people
Yes.
involved. I've seen this association in most years. I'm strict on this one. The Tanzania is position technical director. Maybe not because we're familiar with the face, but
Yes.
the technical director in the sport,
Yeah.
maybe what does he do most of the time? If you look at his role in the sport, maybe Nolwazi was painful. The technical director or the president,
Yeah.
yes.
No,
I
think umsebenzi wakhe umningi kakhulu Fabrice njengoba sisho in tech ball there's a technique that needs to happen lapha kule bhola ma rules ale sports uthi you touch the ball 3 times awuyithinzi le bhola with the same foot sonke isikhathi so uya alternator uyashintsha so kudingeka abantu lapha uhamba bafundzise abantu le technique yalokudlala le sport lesi you know master is an analyst, he's a coach, he's a youth developer une academy la ifundisa kiyo abantwana labancane so umsebenzi wakhe vele umningi kakhulu utawukhona ke lokuyifundisa le technique unayo nayo technique but nje kusathingeka usangakhona ukungihlula mina but kusathingeka ukuthi ayithi kancane but nje basically as a sports analyst like a TV who is a sports person outside you know the technique imqoka so ungena kuleyo umbrella leyo roba ngu technical director lothi nawe nje utakufundisa nje ukuthi tech ball umele uyidlale njani.
No, I have a date with him in the next few minutes in the studio. He's going to give more details about the sport. Now, as we close, Nolwazi, outfit, dress, how do you have to be? In terms of top, do you have to wear sneakers? Do you have to wear soccer boots? Just to tell us about the outfit when you're playing the sport.
So it's a generic athletic outfit. So a round neck t-shirt, shorts, socks and sneakers are pretty much all you need to be playing tech ball.
Any outreaches maybe to go to as far as the likes of Hlangano to explain to people about the sport?
So yes, we definitely have a lot planned on our event calendar. We're planning on going throughout all 4 regions of the country, just activating and showing the nation this new sport and what it's about, and giving everyone an opportunity to actually sign up and be a member or start a club wherever they are in the region. So as soon as we know what the status is with the corona, we will definitely be updating the nation and rolling out all our activations and activities nationwide.
Wow, there you have it. Nolwazi, of course, giving us more details about the sport that is already in town. Like I said, there is a new sport in town, tech ball. You can get yourself a chance to also play the sport. I'm leaving these 2 executive members in the studio to say goodbye and leave us. But before they leave us, I'm a concerned citizen of a football lover. Has Taribo Bembe stopped playing football? Taribo, this is your chance. We are concerned. Are you still a football player, or these are the things? These are the things we want to know. You bringing the likes of tech ball. We've seen you in golf, which is good. You are a multi-talented individual. But let's talk about your career. I think a lot of people want to know where you're standing currently when it comes to football. Are you still a registered player? Can today Dominic Kunene call you for Sitlao? You know, just tell us about quickly, just 30 seconds.
For Prince, Taribo Bembe hasn't retired yet. Taribo Bembe is occupied with sports, you know, sports production, bringing new sports in the country. Taribo Bembe is still registered under Manzini Wanderers for the remainder of the season. So Ngsanga retire for Prince, but Meleng retire kahle. So probably ngeke ngifihle ngento angibiyele ngibabane Swallows my last season. Ngidlale khona and hang up my boots.
Lokumcwanga unokuthi sit down atsatia nama biscuit nasi sekunelanga zokuvalisa. Now there you have it. Taribo Bembe, thank you very much for being in the studio, and we love what you bring. You know what, we're waiting for the outreaches. We want to, where you come from, where you stay, we want to also see you coming and telling us about the sport. Thank you very much for being in the studio.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bembe.
Pleasure, Fabrice.
There you have it. The 2 executive member of Tech Ball, the association that has already been formed, and it's already growing its strength. Talking about the sport is being already practiced almost everywhere within the Manzini Mbabane corridor. In other part of the countries, of course, we get a chance to know about the sport. Otherwise, a short break. When I come back, Linda Dlamini, the technical director, that's the new name, of Techball Eswatini, is going to be in the studio. But before maybe he comes in, you want to know the terms and conditions, the rules about this new sport. Take a look at this.
Techball. Rules of the game. A set is won by the first side to win 20 points. In the final set, it needs to be won by 2 clear points. For example, 21-19. A match consists of a best of 3 set game. Serve. The service must be undertaken with 1 touch from behind the 2 meters service line, with any part of the body except the hands and arms. It is forbidden to step on the service line. The movement of the ball after the serve is indifferent, upwards or downwards. The server must toss the ball from his or her hand and serve it from the air. The touch must be above the level of the playing surface. The ball can bounce anywhere on the opponent's side of the table. If the ball touches the net on a serve, then that counts as a fault. The server has 2 attempts to complete a successful service. The service must be undertaken with at least 1 leg touching the ground. The server must serve from between the extended imaginary lines of the side of the Techball table. The opponents change service after every 4 points. Same applies to the doubles, where the receiving pair swap sides after the change of the service. If the ball bounces on the edge of the table and changes direction, it is considered an edge ball. In this case, the point needs to be repeated. This only applies if the receiver doesn't touch the ball before it bounces on the ground. A side ball is when the ball hits the side of the table below the playing surface. In this case, the point is awarded to the opponent player or team. The gameplay. The players are allowed to return the ball by using any of their body parts, except their hands and arms, by touching it a maximum of 3 times. In doubles, the team members must pass the ball at least once to each other before returning it to the opponent's side of the table. It is forbidden to touch the ball twice consecutively with the same body part. While playing, neither the equipment nor the opponent shall be touched. If the ball bounces back from the net and the ball hasn't hit the floor or the Techball table, then the player or team can still keep the ball in play within the numbers of touches allowed. It is forbidden to return the ball twice consecutively with the same body part. In doubles, the returning touch applies per team. At the moment of returning the ball, the point of touch and every part of the body must be on the player's own side behind the extended imaginary line of the net. In case of a let, the play must be repeated if the ball hits the net and then bounces at least 3 times on the opponent's side of the table. The returning ball must be above the extended imaginary line of the net.
There you have it, Techball, one of the best sports, of course, to be loved by many so far as a sport that is emerging in the Kingdom of Eswatini. And wherever you are in the world, if you just joined us on YouTube platforms, on DSTV and on national gadgets, we're saying welcome. It's Temidlalo and it is live this evening. I'm already in the company of technical director of Techball, ndangixolela bekunene ngoba I'm already giving him a new I'm excited. I think it's more of a joy ndawusho njalo Nkosi. Ngikuvusele Dlamini.
Fabrice siyabonga kuba la kungumusa ngedithwa lokukhuluma uvusele my loyal viewers for you holidays are over Fabrice you back ngiyethemba ukuthi every Monday tabakhona.
Back in 2012, when I met this man called Dlamini, we had a serious conversation, and the main question was that what makes you love sports? And we had a thing in common. Nanyaro, so we have something in common. TT, tell me about the sport. When you talk about kickball, you already have the ball in your hands, and then I think I don't want you to show us some skills because we might get into other stages. But let's talk about the technical director position, and then maybe when one wants to know your role in the sport, and then why does the sport also have some technicalities that people should be aware? Lomunye umuntu angatibuta ukuthi biza mkhonda ngutiti wa football association ubuke development ubuke ma juniors, all those things. When ku tick ball ubuke yini master?
Fabrice njoba usho uthi technical director ngicabanga ukuthi usobeksilwa bekusanga football association ukuthi football technical director wakhona wenda ini bayibaphume ke Fabrice bahambe bawufundzisa ngebhola the technical part yale sports nangalana ke techball kunjalo kwa Fabrice akusile technical director position only. Rules and officiating ukuthi imithetho yale sport sidlalwa njani sona uyabona ngimiphi lemithetho la kumele ukuthi bayadi ngicabanga ukuthi nguloko leli office langala ka rules and officiating naka technical director litakwenda nokuthi nje Fabrice labataba bo referee taba nabo referee benabo chief referee shothi nabo kucinga ukuthi basati le sport bathi ukuthi imithetho ngimiphi nasebemile lapha la inini sebadlalisa le sport kumele bende ini kanjani.
Maybe before we leave the sport master, one would want to find out ukuthi when you talk about technicalities of the sport, ngivetarible mentioning one thing would say even someone who hasn't kicked a ball can be part of the sport. How possible is that? If I've never kicked that ball, how am I able to control it and make sure that it's across the ball? Maybe that would be one to understand. And then someone also is asking himself, the sport so much looks like table tennis. Yes, the similarities between tennis table and that maybe one would want to understand. It's a good question for TT.
Yes, ngenhlanhla lenhle Fabrice vele ukhuluma na coach umvulo wati ukunika ema basics umfana lomncane. In fact nangabe umuvazana sayidlala ibhola kulula kakhulu because yena utawubamba le basics controller then uphase le bhola ngale kulitafula ngicabanga ukuthi ulula kanjalo. And this ball it's a bit lighter compared to le bhola loyijwayele ledlalwako le grounding. And ngicabanga ukuthi lokukahle ngale sport ukuthi Fabrice akudzingi ugijime mhlambe 50-60 meters uyema la leso sikhashanyana lo 2 meters udlale, so ngeke kudzinga ugijime kakhulu but kutawudzinga the technical part yakho ukuthi uyakhona ni control yakhona ni pass.
Master, now see it light, you mean in terms of strength, the inside, or can you maybe touch it and try to forge it so that person can see how it is?
Mabhola lawa Fabrice ngicabanga ukuthi itawuhamba i-techball Eswatini all over the country ifundzise nge-techball, and la mabhola lawa atabe akhona abantu batati vela basetawabona. Ngicabanga ukuthi labanye sebawabonile sibonile imbabana Swallows, imbabana Highlanders ba-trainer Green Mamba before i-final yeNgwenyama Cup bekumele ukuthi kiwe khona imbabana Highlanders before iNgwenyama Cup final ba-trainer kaSomhlolo. Ngicabanga ukuthi cishe bamvula abanengi bathi nabazidlala le sport ba enjoy nawe ama players imbabana Swallows nje bangasafuna litafula lihambe imbabana Highlanders players beba trainer belinile ke Fabrice lana ligcobile sangcotfo, kodwa lama players athi afuna ukudlala kuleli tafula leli because leli tafula leli Fabrice njengobona lo yakhiwo loya it's a tech ball world is cave. Yeah.
Wow, there you have it. Enough about tech ball. It's a sport you can never stop talking about it. Apparently, it's one that I should give it a try. Now, earlier December 2019, I think one would say no one would know that when you finish the year 2019, by the time it was December, there was a virus called COVID-19, also known as coronavirus. By that time, it was an epidemic. Now, crossing to March this year, it's already a pandemic that has hit the entire world. As we speak in the Kingdom of Eswatini, we're also one of the countries that have been affected by this pandemic, the so-called COVID-19. Leagues are suspended. Sporting codes have been told to give it a break. Master, how much of this disadvantage for us, sport fraternity? What does this make the situation look like to you?
Fabrice, it's a very unfortunate situation lesikuyo ukuthi onke ema-sports amiswe. In fact emhlabeni wonke tinvo tonke timisiwe, sibonile ibhola imisiwe, the English Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, cishe onke nalakhaya ke kwenteke kanjalo bekumele kudlala eSwatini Bank the past weekend, but yangadlala kwahlihliswa because of le virus level ile. Ngicabanga ukuthi simo lesibhlungu because akusiyo invo lendiwe ngumuntu, invo level yavela nje. Ngicabanga ukuthi Fabrice lokumcoka ngileti impilo tebamvu bengifunza nje Rune asho earlier on ukuthi badlali abangachithiswa ukuthi ingulube. Ngicabanga ukuthi
Masa, quickly maybe I will use this worldwide in Africa, because what's happening in Europe, it's attaching on us in Africa. We know that most of the supporters, you talk about watching local football, you watch the ABSA Premiership in South Africa, you watch the English Premier League, Serie A, your La Liga. But now UEFA has called a meeting tomorrow to talk about this decision if we will have Euro 2020 this coming summer. Now, if the Euro 2020 this summer are postponed or they are not played, chances are we might have the league continuing. Now, if they are removed, of which Italy is so much into that to say they should be removed because the opening games should take in Rome. Now, let's bring it the perspective into Africa. CAF, let's say they haven't said anything about calling a meeting and football associations to meet. If it happens that maybe all the activities are stopped, are you encouraging that all the leagues should be starting afresh? To say if Liverpool were 3 games away to win the league, they should stop. If Young Buffaloes were 4 games away from winning the league, Young Buffaloes should lose the trophy. Are we encouraging that, Master? Are we saying that should be the case, or let's them proceed anytime the situation is relaxed?
In fact, Fabrice, I hope ukuthi bata consider onge lama options, because my options are ngaba 3 or 4. Option number 1 ukuthi le league bavele bayiqedze njengoba injalo kusho lo number 1 utavela be champion, but again nawenda njalo utawuthi lo number 2 bengisene game in hand, bengisengamkhanza, bengisatodlala naye lakhaya nje iYoung Buffaloes ya lead, isetawudlala number 1 eSwallows, isetawudlala ne Green Mamba, so itawuthi number 1 eSwallows bengingayidla iYoung Buffaloes ngihlale ku number 1 uyabona, benga Green Mamba bengingayidla iYoung Buffaloes. Ngicabanga ukuthi iningi letimvulo kumele liconsider o ngevele le league ivele icedwe uyabona iqalelwe phasi kudlalwe ma qualifiers.
But what's your take? What do you think? Maybe before we leave, yes, what's your take? Should we even in Europe, what's your take as an analyst? What's your opinion? Should we start afresh or let's carry on?
If Fabrice asakubukakala lokuthi le virus iyakhona kuphela in the next maybe 30 days or maybe 2 months, if akwende kuloko iphele ngicabanga ukuthi sekungabe seseku yabukakala sekuyahlalwa phansi, but mine bengathi if ayikhona lokuthi iphele le virus sooner, ngicabanga ukuthi then lama leagues kumele ukuthi aphele acedwe kucalelwe phansi, then sponsor noma ileague the Premier Leagues onke la khona la then acompensate lawo ma teams because adlalile phela Fabrice imidlalo la idlalile, but nje icedwe le league kube bethi champion kube bete lo relegate wako.
This, of course, will have a huge effect on the entire world. You talk about if now the Euros are postponed next year, which means women Euros are postponed to 2022. Then the World Cup, we're not sure if it's 2022, it's 2023, all those things. Now, let's talk about now weekend activities. I mean, I know you're a sports personnel. Anything that we throw at you, you are able to respond. This past weekend, we saw the pool league continuing over the weekend. Pool league, we know that pool is one of the sports that is also on a high rise in the country. And then maybe we can also touch on the coronavirus with pool, because I heard now they have a new rule where each player has to, carry a Q stick You know, you have to carry your own cue stick to make sure that you don't exchange with everyone. But that's on the lighter side. This is at Matsapa College, of course, with the pool players giving their best. What did you take notice of the game on the day?
Fabrice iphuli iqhubekile njengoba usho inqumbi lamanye ema sports bayakhanseliwe but iphuli iqhubekile reps beyidlala kumathapha but lamanye bekadlala kubomankayane ukhuluma ngabo way in ukhuluma ngabo mankayane ukhuluma ngabo stairs nasemalkens bebadlala kumathapha njengoba sengishilo ngicaba ukuthi bona bangilenye ileague including lamanye lambalwa laqhubekile ngicaba ukuthi tikuna njoba usho ukuthi letinvuku lesnuka labanye bashilo ukuthi anisashintshiselani because lokumcwa kakhulu ngilokuthi ningakhonile ukubese or maybe ningabe ngetulu 100 kokuqala kwesibili lendvuku ningashintshiselani because lokushintshiselana nangabe unayo wena ngisengikunika lendvuku yami naseyibuyela kimi sengiyayithatha ngicaba ngithi babuke lokho labakaphulu ukuthi if umva sebenzisa indvuku yakhe angeke zisithelelana
must maybe to leave pool but baqhubekelana ngoba all the games not to expose them but won't it be also another situation to say it's dangerous? They maybe should also have taken the advice to close the games.
But involving solo ngiva Fabrice wonke umuntu uthi akungabi ngetulu kwa100 labamvu labakhona if bangaphasi kwa100 maybe letikhala lamkhatsisini mina nje nawe lokusihlele kanje sikahle kakhulu because sichelelene uyabona ngicabanga ukuthi nabo lapha babuke lokho angadi i-reason yabo yokuthi bachubeke but nje I want to believe ukuthi babuke lokho ukuthi lapha labadlalela khona ababe baningi but emankayane sibakhanzilele labe badlalela khona it was packed.
Another sport, golf, MTN Masters. Now, we'll also look at the distance in terms of golf over the weekend. I think monthly Masters one would say it was another weekend it was on. Let's look at the swing that is taking on the golf course there. The distance is fair. There's no crowd. There's no one there to say it's a problem. But the sport itself over the weekend, it was people were giving their best on the high note.
Iqhubekile igolf Fabrice njoba usho ukuthi yona nayo I think it's not a contact sport. Iwina kwagcina kunye yena Qongqo Mr Qongqo but ngicabanga ukuthi on the day lo kumcwa kakhulu ukuthi CO waka MTN beka part of lama games lawo beka
dlala and by sponsored
is sponsored by MTN
aphinza abe involved
aphinza abe ngumdlali wadlala kahle kakhulu na wathola nebedi ngicaba ukuthi Fabrice le Galuva it's one sport lekhulile ngicaba ukuthi lokudlala nje ukukhombisa lokuthi le sport ba serious kanganani and nale sponsor basihlonipha kanganani because nangabe kudlala na CEO we sponsor ngicaba ukuthi vele kumele intimisele vele because bafaka imali and nalabadlali abadlala angathi ke Fabrice because njoba sikhuluma ngekupostpone nje kuma games ivirus coronavirus ukuthi golf bekumele ukuthi ema juniors akhona eEgypt but sitawubuka nakhona ukuthi sitawuva sibeke indlebe ukuthi bathini basahamba indvele lama juniors ke Egypt.
Talking about the CEO, I think it's encouraging to talk about him and his abilities. Maybe as we take a look at that, when you talk about a person of his caliber, his daily activities in the office, and also get a time to achieve this.
Look at that, Fabrice. Look at that.
What is saying?
A whole CEO ushayele Galuva lapha ngaphandle kwa lo green yangena ngekhathi emgodini ngicaba ukuthi nayo yakhombisa ukuthi
wow, what a shot.
Fabrice, this is beautiful.
I normally see the likes of McRory, they're the ones, the Tiger Woods, they're the ones to take this type of shots.
It's not easy.
Coming from CEO on a beautiful course locally, that's beautiful.
More especially tournament sponsored by inkampani la Pets.
Now, enjabulweni bekune swimming, Dlamini, quickly the national champs, looking at maybe the swimming fraternity on its own, it's a growing sport, but kube nama concern kancane ukuthi the clubs are not coming in their numbers. Is it maybe good see we don't have enough facilities for the swimming?
Kwaqala Fabrice ngicela ukukhuluma nganako lamanye ama sports bese kuba ngathi awasupporteke kahle kani letinye tinto about organizing ngesikhathi even nasi nje Fabrice Eswatini TV yadisekelate ngale tournament le fortunately wagcina ukhonile kuya but nje ema clubs ngicabanga ukuthi i swimming association kumele ukuthi kube ngiyo lele faka liswati I discipline kulama teams cause kuma national champs sibheka ukuthi onke lama clubs abe khona ato compete kutophuma labadlali abatahamba ba compete ngaphandle ngicabanga nje ukuthi but I consent yabo ukuthi labadlali labawinile la especially yo Robin Young na Esimanga angeke bakhona ke ngaphandle komelela level laseSwatini.
Wow, beautiful that. Now, sustainable development goal master SDG number 3. It talks about wellness and well-being of people living with disability. Now, Eswatini Tennis Association is of course doing that. This is people living with disability, I mean, on a wheelchair, of course, playing tennis, and they are feeling part of the community, and they can represent the country with this sport, of course. It means a lot seeing also the sport being taken to the people living with disability, especially Tennis Association.
For a very long time Fabrice bantu labe baphila ngekhubateka bebanganakeki bebanga recognize ama sports but na kunyalo I-tennis yendile iyaba recognize bayadlala lapha bahlili lapha ku wheelchair ngicaba ukuthi Fabrice kufana nasetindzaweni nje emaholeni mina sonveni once ngabona ditepi stotva la kude la kutahamba khona bambu be wheelchair ngivele ngiphume because lokusho ukuthi bamvu labakhubatekile abanakekeleki but ngiyajabula nje tennis lele kwendako tennis association lele kwendako lapha and kulamanye ama sports sithemba ukuthi kutawuchubeka nangala ka table nje kunakekela kakhulu ke lokho badlali labakhubatekile nje banakekelwa nakulamanye ama sports sigazile lokho I-basketball iyakwenda lokho sabona lapha emavuso iyakwenda lokho ngicabanga ukuthi onke lawo ma sports if angakhona kukopa akwende lokho then khona la singaya khona silive.
There you have it, Linda. I mean, of course, that's why we have him in the studio, giving you a variety of anything that has to do with sport. And of course, thank you very much for sticking with us from the moment we were sitting with the Green Mamba head coach and captain, talking about their journey to the finals, up to the moment we talked about the new sport in town, tech ball. Of course, Taribo Bembe, the president, giving us more details until the moment Linda Dlamini was winding up with different sporting coach, touching, of course, on the issue of coronavirus. And of course, as a viewer, if you missed this chance of watching this program live, there's always a way to catch a repeat tomorrow morning at 8, and of course other platforms being YouTube. Otherwise, this is Eswatini TV Sports, and we all are about sports. Good night.